The Chicago Bears add some depth to their offensive tackle room as they sign Jason Peters to a one-year deal. What's going on, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears update videos. I'll be giving you guys update videos on the Chicago Bears offseason, signings, training camp, all that good stuff. So if you want all that, be sure to subscribe to this channel. But in today's video, guys, I'll be talking about the signing that we made a couple days ago, actually. I think it was last Saturday or Sunday, something like that, where we signed Jason Peters, okay? A future Hall of Fame tackle. He's almost 40 years old now. He's 39 years of age, nearing the end of his career. So this isn't a big time signing. Okay, this guy is nowhere close to the prime of his career anymore. But the contract that we gave him, I think it's more than reasonable and a pretty good deal for the Chicago Bears. Okay, so Ryan Pace signed Jason Peters to a one-year deal worth $1.075 million, including a $250,000 signing bonus. The base salary is $1.075 million with a maximum of $425,000 in per game bonuses. Okay, so that could bring the deal to a max value of $1.75 million if he actually plays every single game. Now let's talk about why we had to make this move, and pretty much, guys, it's because our guy that we thought was going to start at left tackle for us this offseason, okay, Tevin Jenkins, the guy that we traded up to draft in the second round this year, he most likely is going to miss a significant portion of this season. Okay, today it was announced that Tevin Jenkins is actually undergoing back surgery, which that's not a minor injury at all. Okay, a back surgery is pretty serious usually, especially when you're playing a position like offensive tackle, right, where you need the mobility, you need to have your back feeling pretty good, okay, because you weigh so much, you have to move people at the line of scrimmage, so you have to be feeling good to play that position. Now, I'm not that worried yet about Tevin Jenkins. I know, people out there saying, oh, is this guy already going to be Kevin White 2.0? I think it's way too early to say that, guys. It's only been 1 year, and this guy also, before now, he didn't really have significant back issues in college. He did have a lumbar strain in college, but that's not that serious, right, where you have to get surgery for it usually. And he's only 23 years old, guys, so most likely he is going to be fine. He's going to return to the lineup later this season, and he's still one of the best tackle prospects that was available in the draft, so I don't regret going up and getting him because we badly needed a guy like him at tackle. And also, we only spent a second round pick and a third round pick on him. Okay, you could have spent a first round pick on him at pick number 20, which a lot of people are projecting us to do, okay, taking Tevin Jenkins at 20, but instead we got Justin Fields at 11 and Tevin Jenkins in the second round. So personally, I'm still not regretting the move just yet, but it is kind of worrisome as of now, which is why the Chicago Bears signed Jason Peters to probably play left tackle for us a good portion of this season. Now let's talk about what Jason Peters is like at this stage of his career. Okay, is he still a good player? How has he performed the last few years? And honestly, man, I think this is gonna work out for the Chicago Bears. Okay, if Jason Peters can just stay healthy, that is the only thing right now. Whenever he's been healthy in his career, he's been one of the best left tackles in the entire NFL. Okay, like I mentioned, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer after he retires, okay, in 5 years, because he's been that good. Been on a Super Bowl winning team as well, which have one of the best offensive lines of the last decade. So clearly this guy has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge about the game. He can very well be a mentor to all the young guys we have on that offensive line, right? Because pretty much our entire offensive line is super young right now. Okay, Sam Mustipher is young, Cody Whitehair is still relatively young, James Daniels is only 23 years old, Jermaine Ifedi is still pretty young. So, worst case scenario, he could be a pretty good mentor and kind of teach these guys how to play the game the right way, okay, teach them technique and all. But best case scenario, he could be a pretty average tackle for us at this stage of his career, which, guys, if he is an average tackle for us this year, if he provides us with just average or maybe a slightly above average tackle play, that would be a fantastic thing for this offensive line, because he is going to be 40 years old, guys. Okay, there's not a lot of 40-year-olds out there that can play at a high level in the NFL, one of the toughest leagues to play in all professional sports. And we're obviously missing our starting left tackle, and we don't have a lot of depth behind him. Elijah Wilkinson hasn't looked all that impressive in camp so far. We don't have a lot of depth behind Wilkinson either. Like, who else are you going to play there? Latavius Simmons, he's looked horrible in camp so far. So to even get average left tackle play at this point would be a blessing. I think that's definitely possible, again, if Jason Peters can just stay healthy. Okay, last year he only played in 8 games, only started 8 games, and he did play hurt a good portion of that season. He was dealing with a toe injury that ended the season, but he still played at a pretty decent level. Obviously, it was the worst season of his career, but for a Hall of Famer, that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? It was still relatively average or maybe slightly below average. He allowed 4 quarterback hits, 16 hurries. He had 0 penalties though, which is pretty good, okay? Because you guys remember Charles Leno, he was horrible with the penalties, coming at the worst times, holding, false start, all that. But Jason Peters has not had a single penalty last year. So that was pretty good. And if you want to look at his PFF grades as well, don't know how much you guys take stock in those because they can be pretty subjective. But PFF thinks that Jason Peters still had a pretty decent year last year. Okay, his rating was above average. His pass block rating was a lot better than his run block rating. Pass block rating was 66. Run block was 62, which is slightly below average. But regardless, I think he still played a pretty okay season given what the circumstances were. Okay, he's 39 years old, dealing with a toe injury as well, which that toe injury seems to be fully healthy as of now, at least according to Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, but we'll see if he can actually stay healthy. Okay, being 40 years old in the NFL, it's pretty much an impossible task for a lot of people. Obviously, a guy like Tom Brady can make it seem easy, but he is one in a million. Okay, most people cannot play this game past age 35, but Jason Peters still played at a pretty okay level last year. And if you also look at the year before that, 2019, he was actually one of the better tackles in the NFL. Okay, he had a PFF grade of 82.3, one of the best for any tackles that year. His pass blocking was elite, his run blocking was above average, and that's honestly kind of been the story for Jason Peters. He's been elite at pass blocking most years of his career. His run blocking has been kind of on and off. Some years it's been pretty great, other years not that well. But regardless, man, if he can just be a capable pass blocker for us, okay, block well for Justin Fields, just protect his blind side and just not allow him to be killed. That's pretty much all we're asking for, at the age of 40, right? Like, we're not going to ask him to be a superstar on this team, one of the best left tackles in the league, because that's not a realistic ask at this point in his career. But if he can just be a stable presence for us until Tevin Jenkins is ready, just not be a turnstile, not be horrible, that's pretty much all we're asking for. Okay, again, we're not paying him that much money. We're only paying him about $1 million, so it's not a big financial commitment. And out of all the left tackles available on the market, I think he was one of the better ones out there. Okay, obviously we did cut Charles Leno, which a lot of people out there are now saying it's going to bite us in the butt because Charles Leno was always healthy. He never missed a game. But guys, Charles Leno was not performing at a high level for us the last few years. I totally got why we got rid of him, because we finally drafted a guy in Tevin Jenkins who was everything that Charles Leno was not. Okay, nasty, physical, mean, but unfortunately Tevin Jenkins got dealt with a bad hand, okay, with this back injury. So he's not going to be ready just yet, but hopefully a guy like Jason Peters can hold down the fort until our young tackle is ready. So overall, a great signing by Ryan Pace. I think it should work out well if this guy can just stay healthy and just perform at a pretty average level for us. Let me know what you guys think about this signing in the comments down below. But as always, bear down.